Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Mental Side. Wait, I thought this was daily meditation. Well, on today's Wednesday word, we were going to talk about the word calibration. So I felt with where the meditations were going, it was becoming more along the lines of mental training, mental thinking, and less on meditation. And that's not to say that we won't come back and do some meditation. However, I think many were finding more benefit in our talks on positive thinking and just the mental side of life and baseball and how those two correlate with each other. So, before we get into more of our talk on this Wednesday word, calibration, thank you for being here. Whenever you're listening or wherever you're at, we're thankful to have you here with us. Please, if you would, give this channel and video a like, maybe even share out a link to somebody who you think would find benefit in it, like a teammate or a family member. We're just trying to spread the good word. And as I've mentioned a number of times, I'm not a guru or an expert on this by any means. However, it has become a passion of mine to read up and learn more on these topics. And by sharing it out with you, I become better at it. So don't be afraid to give us a comment or an email to tell us a little bit about your journey or what you're looking for by being here. I'd imagine if you're here listening, you're trying to better yourself in this area, and in doing so, you're going to be a better teammate, and more importantly, just a person who's going to really do some great things. So on that note, let's talk about the Wednesday word, calibration. So I know calibration or pivoting is a buzzword that we hear today in the sporting world and even a lot in the business world. And really all it means is to make an adjustment. And I have felt over the last 2 months here, it has been a lot of adjusting. As a father, a husband, a teacher, coach, it's all been recalibrating how I look at these things. And for the most part, it's been very positive. And I'm really excited as we get closer to opening up our state and moving forward, what that entails. All these new things that I've been working on and doing during this time, putting it to use when we're all back together, when I am back in the classroom, when I am on the baseball field. And I hope for many of you, you've used this time to really look at yourself and calibrate yourself, just like when you take an automobile into your mechanic to have it calibrated, you make sure your tire pressure's right, everything's balanced, everything, all the fluids are right. We're essentially kind of the same thing, balancing ourselves out, looking from within, getting more introspective, looking at where we can improve, what we're already doing really well. I think really a lot of people have understood more so like what they really need to work on, but also what they do really well. I know for me it was an adjustment to be around the house more and really at times just follow my wife's lead because she's around our kids the most, because that's her very important job. And there's always a time to lead and there's always a time to follow. It's a big thing with the Navy SEALs and their ethos, their Navy SEAL creed. I stand ready to lead, and I also stand ready to follow, because there is a time and a place to do both. So calibrating ourselves to come out of this better than how we came in some way. Maybe you've become more routine in a great habit. Eating right, sleeping better, working out, dedicating more time to self-help, reading, listening, or maybe it's just appreciating those that you have in your life. Really working on gratitude, which is a great thing to meditate on, and to give thanks daily for the things that you do have, focusing on that as opposed to what you don't have. And so when we come back, when we do open things up, whenever that may be, you're ready. You've been calibrated, you've been primed, you've pivoted in a direction that's going to make you better than you were in some way, shape, or form. And I know everyone has experienced this social distancing, this stay at home differently, and that's fine. We're all not in the same boat. Everyone has experienced this in a different way. Some people have loved ones, maybe people who are just very dear and near to them who have had their battle with COVID, or have had an experience with it. And just even with the whole e-learning and trying to stay in peak form with your craft of baseball, we've all been impacted by this differently, and that's fine. That's okay. We've all experienced this differently, just like as a team. When we bring a team of people together, you have people from all kinds of different demographics, socioeconomics, home lives, just different shared experiences, and that's what makes it beautiful. We bring all these people together on a team, in the classroom, in society, and we work together. We find a way to find that common ground, so we can learn a lot from this too. I think a lot of people, I know myself in particular, are going to take away a lot from this. Understanding, wow, I can still get a good workout in at home, get a little bit more creative, maybe go for a few more walks, jogs, really just try to spend more time with those closest to us. I know it's been great for the fact that I've really been around more, especially in the spring when, baseball coaches are gone a lot, especially over the weekends where, my little boy and I have really been able to bond. And sorry about that alarm. And, I've just seen him in such a different lens, and, learned a lot from him just with his 3.5-year-old personality, and seeing my daughter, who's going to be a year and a couple weeks here, really just go through her progressions of life. And not that I wouldn't as a coach, but you just really, I think, take less for granted when you see, wow, life calibrates itself. Life pivots on a dime. I never would have suspected back in mid-March, that on March 13th, that I would have been telling my students and players that that the school year. Well, at that point, we didn't know that it was going to be for the remainder of the school year. But we're not going to come back until 4 weeks from now. And same thing with our players. 4 weeks from now, but prepare for the fact that we might not come back and have a season. So life has a way of forcing us to calibrate. And if we sit here and whine and cry and boo-hoo about it, I mean, it's very valid. I mean, definitely very valid. I'm not taking away from the fact that it's a very unprecedented time where many are feeling this in a multitude of ways. However, life has a way of resetting and calibrating, and it's up to us to find the best in those situations and do what we can to make the most of it and move forward in a positive direction. Okay, so your Wednesday word, calibration. Look at how you can calibrate yourself, and that's a daily thing. So many people get hung up in the fact, well, I've always been this way. In fact, the 7 most deadly words in the English language is, we've always done it this way. Well, what if you've always been doing it the wrong way? I hear it as a teacher and a coach. Well, coach, or Mr. Hamley, we've always done it this way. Okay. What if you've just been doing it wrong all this time? And just because you're sweating doesn't mean you're making progress. So just keep that in mind, that just because you've always done it a certain way doesn't mean it's right. It could be. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. However, always be open to making those calibrations and those adjustments. And I mean, that's who we are as human beings. We grow, we evolve. We're built to change. We're built to make mistakes and fail and learn from them. Fail often, fail early, and fail forward. Failure is just the first step in learning. And I truly believe that. If you want more, reach out to me on the social media platforms, or shoot us an email, shoot us a comment. I'd love to hear more from those who are viewing this content, and I look forward to seeing you on Thursday for our next episode of the mental side. There's a calibration right there. We're changing as we grow and as we move. We've put over 30 episodes out, and it's always time to take a look and see where we were, where we are, and where we want to be. So we're calibrating right there with you. I'm not talking on things that I wouldn't do myself. So I I look forward to seeing you again. Remember, keep slugging.